Part 2, calories. I'm starting here because honestly, for skinny guys, this is the absolute biggest hurdle to gaining muscle. Most of us are adrenaline driven, have high metabolisms, and perhaps even lower than average hormone output. Bone growth plates close in a heavy androgenic environment, some believe due to expression of estrogen. So those of us that grow tall and stay thin are likely slightly disadvantaged in the hormone department and need more calories than others do to grow. All that adrenaline-fueled, nervous, skinny person energy revs up our heart and our metabolisms, making the calories we eat mostly go to fueling our fidgety lifestyle. So we go to the gym to bulk up. We encounter stocky guys with muscles that say, train like me and you'll grow. Nope, you'll grow training like you. Tall, skinny guys need more food, less training volume, and more rest and recovery, or they will not grow. I spent one summer working out with my best friend from high school. I was nearly 6'2" and 135 pounds, and he was 5'8", about 175 or 180 pounds and stocky. Doing the exact same workouts at the same time, and even with me pounding protein powder and ice cream, by the end of the summer, he was hitting new PRs on bench, while I was actually weaker than when I started. He looked at me like I'd messed up somehow or was just too lazy. More volume was his prescription. When you're shorter and huskier, you have less metabolic demands on your system, more fat reserves, and even often more natural muscle tissue to store glycogen, which is vital to muscle strength and endurance. So you can train for hours, have a solid dinner, and keep improving, mainly watching out not to eat too many sweets. A skinny guy, especially the tall ones, have to get all that recuperative ability strictly from their food. They're already fighting a losing battle with their glycogen stores and have no fat to cushion them in the wee hours of the night when recovery and growth really happen. Plus, with higher adrenaline, we're more likely to be insomniacs, worry, and think more. The brain alone uses 15 to 20% of all the body's energy. A big-headed tall fella, think Conan O'Brien, probably uses more than 20% energy just in the noggin. I'm here to tell you that's okay. You gotta eat to grow. Obviously more so than a shorter, stockier individual. But how much? Here's my flexible formula. Lean body mass, that's the weight you weigh without any body fat, times 20 to 25 should equal your total daily calories you need to grow. And again, this is lean body mass in pounds. This will be different if you're old, short, etc. But for lean, young men and women, this is a pretty good starting point. First, you got to figure out your lean body mass. This involves guesstimating your body fat percentage and subtracting that from your weight in pounds. Here I am in middle age at 212 pounds. I'm going to guess my current body fat level at 15.5 to 18%. If you think that's too low or high, I don't really care. This is just for me and my caloric starting point. In my case, I would take my body weight times 0.16 to represent 16% body fat. That would be 34 pounds of fat. Subtract that from 212, and that equals 178 pounds of lean body mass. Now, I take this number times 20. Since I'm a little older, I'm not going to lean at the heavy end at 25, so we'll go 20. That equals 3,560 calories per day to grow. If you are significantly active with a labor-intensive job, you can add 200 calories for every hour of moderately intense activity. So if I worked construction or stocking shelves 8 hours a day, I'd add 1,600 calories to my total, making it 5,160 to grow. You think this sounds crazy high? I once spent 6 months working an overnight factory job. They worked you hard there. You'd get written up if you were caught not absolutely hustling. Every day, I'd eat my regular meals, approximately 3,100 calories, give or take, and an entire quart of chocolate milk, and an entire bag of powdered donuts, plus protein bars as snacks. I started that job at 204 pounds. I finished that job at 204 pounds 6 months later. This is where 90% of young men get stuck. In my example above, I was likely eating significantly over maintenance, i.e., I might have only needed 3,600 calories to not lose weight at that activity level. But even 4,000 to 5,000 calories simply was not enough to gain weight while I was that active. It didn't hurt me, it didn't help me. See, we all have a sweet spot, a range of caloric intake that we can operate in before we gain or lose. The body loves homeostasis, i.e. staying the same. It can be frustrating. It's like on some sitcoms where crazy things happen in the show, but everything is back to normal by the next episode. i.e., I could eat crazy amounts, and by the next day, I've not grown. By the next week, I've not grown. I can guess that my homeostasis range at that period was 3,500 to 4,500 calories. I probably gained a slight bit whenever I would hit 5,000 calories, but I was just too active to hold on to it for those days I fell slightly short at 4,000 calories. And no, I would not have continued to lose weight at 4,000, just maintain. It's funny, you never hear fitness experts talk about caloric range. It's always hard numbers. Unfortunately, life doesn't quite work like that. That's why pro bodybuilders have coaches, gurus, people on the outside to make those adjustments as needed and get the athlete out of their head. That's what I'm here to do today, to be a mini coach, to get you on the right path and off the merry-go-round of no gains. You got to start by figuring out what you are currently taking in, numbers-wise, for your calories. Learn to read labels and look up calories on your phone. There are several free tracker apps. I know it sucks, but this is the basics. You gotta have some idea of what you're taking in to know what changes to make. From there, follow my formula that I mentioned above. That's find your lean body mass and then take that number by 20 to 25. That'll give you your rough daily caloric needs to grow. If you find that you've taken your lean body mass by 20 and you're still not growing, you need to raise that up closer to the 25 mark until you find that sweet spot where you're over your hurdle and actually able to grow. This number will have to be adjusted upward for those that are tall, for those that are extremely young, i.e. still teenagers, and for the extremely active. So the more active you are, the more you're going to have to add. The taller you are, the more you're going to have to add. The younger you are, the closer you are to puberty, the more you're going to have to add, because that's when your metabolism is very, very high. I hope this gives you a good starting point, but to find out how to integrate what we've learned with our training, stay tuned to part 3.